if you're discarding wives. Well, I was in a
You won't believe what happened when one particular ex-husband attempted to steal the limelight at his ex-wife's wedding. Believe me, this is not petty. This is a complete disaster you have to listen to. Buckle up, as we are going in for some serious drama that'll leave your jaw wide open. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Meri on Sister Wives Twist, and today's tale is one to be remembered. Try to imagine the temerity it requires to crash your ex-wife's wedding and try to steal the spotlight from the groom. Now, picture doing all of that with no clue whatsoever of how utterly ridiculous you appear. That's Kody for you, the living embodiment of secondhand embarrassment. Let's be real. Attempting to upstage David, a reserved, down-to-earth, and truly kind-hearted man, is akin to taking a kazoo to the symphony. David's not only an incredible partner to Christine, he's an incredible dad. Just ask Maddie, who was literally crying discussing how much she adores and respects him. That says something. In the meantime, Kody remains suspended in his own selfish reality. He truly thought he could upstage David on his own special day. It's like a tone-deaf musician believing they can outperform a Broadway star. Agonizingly delusional. Now imagine this. Christine and David are off having their moment. And somewhere, Kody is dreaming up stealing the show, even though he wasn't invited. The pettiness is real. You just know that if he was there, he would have jumped up and given some uncomfortable, cringy speech about his history with Christine. Something like, "We didn't work, but maybe this guy will do better." Yikes. Then there's the time David confessed he doesn't even enjoy dancing, but still danced for Christine. That in itself is love. That's maturity. As opposed to Kody, who is a self-absorbed teenager, flopping around the dance floor like he's having a fit. And yes, he once nearly pulled Christine's arm out of its socket trying to dance. Classy. Just picture Kody, lost in his own little world, choreographing some fictitious dance battle he deluded himself into thinking he could win, at a wedding that he wasn't even invited to. The cringe factor is off the charts. And the worst part of it all? He shared that fantasy with the world. That requires a special level of ego. You can almost hear his ex-wives all letting out a collective, "What was I thinking?" Genuinely, the only platform Kody deserves is one that has padding and a bodyguard, just in case his moves get out of hand. He fancies himself this cool, charming star. In actuality, he's the mascot for Cringe Central, doing the emotional equivalent of Elaine's dance on Seinfeld. But wait, the twist? He always manages to turn it around to himself. Not the wedding, not the couple, not even his own children. It's all, "Why wasn't I invited?" Or, "How did I steal the moment?" And David's just over there being a good dad and great partner, quietly succeeding at life. So, while Kody's still out here considering himself Moses and the dance floor, let's just be real. He's a walking disaster. If he had been at the wedding, it would have turned from celebration to circus in an instant. And just when you thought it couldn't possibly get any worse, he actually admitted that he wouldn't give up his relationship with Robyn for the sake of his kids. Let that sink in. And the temerity just continues to grow. Who asked Kody to make those so-called sacrifices anyway? Nobody. That's the irony. He fabricated a false story in which he's the martyr, when in truth, he could have had both. His relationship with Robyn and a real connection with his children. It just would have taken some effort, something he seems unwilling to provide. At the last dance at the wedding, something really precious occurred. The children said the wedding recalled the days of the old family reunions, when there was laughter, love, and actual togetherness. And it was clear why this one was different. Kody and Robyn weren't around to drain the happiness from the room. Look at Robyn, Aurora, and Brianna on their notorious church shopping spree. There was shopping, yes, but the style didn't mirror it, and the energy was all off. The difference between the two families is astounding. When the children are outside of Kody and Robyn's toxic circle, they're calm. They're themselves. They're joyful. Flashback to some of the early episodes when Robyn was initially brought in. The other wives sat next to her on the couch, appearing to be warm and welcoming. But sooner than later, the fatigue caught up. Episode after episode, cry after cry, their tolerance thinned. And in the background, you could only imagine how heated things had to have gotten. The infuriating thing is that Kody can do it without Robyn when he desires, but not when it comes to his own children. They didn't kick him out, they just wanted their daddy back. And Robyn? She hasn't been precisely hospitable. Just take Yabel's expression at Truly's birthday dinner. Not sufficient food, no room prepared for Truly to reside. It was a sad sight of how little they were willing to do. And don't forget about the court order Christine was required to submit just to receive child support. Kody shirked financial responsibility for his own daughter. He handled visitation with other children just fine, unless, that is, it was Truly. And on a day as special as her birthday, they can't even order additional food or support her dietary requirements. For all their money, that's not an error. That's a decision. And the worst thing? Truly has been damaged as a result. She's such an amazing, strong child, and yet she's had to go through more than any child should, even being hospitalized because of his lack of responsibility. That notorious bike lesson? More traumatic than beneficial. Kody didn't fall short as a father, he failed outright. But here's where things get most glaringly contrasting. David filled the void where Kody wouldn't, providing love, patience, and stability. He's been a blessing not only to Christine, but to Truly as well. Seeing Christine thrive with David is exactly what a supportive partner can do. It's sweet and bitter. Kody, though, won't own up to the wreckage he's wrought. He deflects blame onto Robyn, claiming she's the cause of the distance between himself and his children. It's a classic deflection. Robyn's no angel either, not by a long shot. But Kody's unwillingness to admit to his own favoritism and neglect is breathtaking. He weaves this sad story where the ex-wives are evil, the children are brainwashed, and poor Kody was forced to select Robyn and her children over the rest of the family. In truth, it wasn't a choice. It was an escape from accountability. Now, the actual drama begins. Who will fans and relatives believe if Kody and Robyn's relationship goes sour? Will anyone be on their side at all? Or are they both just about out of sympathy? It's especially painful to hear Kody speak negatively about his children in public. Words matter, and when you're a parent, they shape lives. Kody's cold, dismissive approach has driven a deep wedge between him and his kids. And still, he expects them to fix it. Here's the thing, adult children don't crawl. They want relationships founded on respect. But Kody can't have a discussion without bringing Robyn into it, and that just drives them further apart. His repeated refusal to take responsibility has cost him everything. The reality is, his children don't feel like he picked Robyn over them. They feel like he abandoned them for her, and they're not crazy. Kody can't cope with being questioned. He resents their autonomy. He's juggled them around, placed siblings apart, played favorites, and abused resources. That's not parenting. That's control. True parenting is communication. It is listening. It is releasing ego. Kody's method, the opposite. And the outcome speaks for itself. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more heartbreaking, it does. Kody still insists on holding on to this delusion that his children despise Robyn, but the reality is more complicated. What they actually desire is not her absence, but fairness, accountability, and respect. But Kody can't get beyond his ego. He still believes this is about picking sides, when in fact his kids just don't want him anymore. Not like this. Robyn hasn't done much to help matters either. She's kept her children coddled and isolated from the rest of the family, making no attempt to close the gap. And she and Kody together have insisted on having everything done their way, not even willing to meet people halfway. It's a one-way relationship with no place for growth or healing. Since Garrison's tragic death, everyone has been left to ask, has anything shifted? Have things begun to heal between them? Unfortunately, the response would appear to be no. Kody boasts of holding the door open, but is unwilling to make the first move through it. It's much simpler for him to sit back and blame than to look and say, sorry. Consider Christmas. Kody insisted his children apologize to Robyn so they could function as a family. Not surprisingly, they did not. Afterwards, he rebranded it as simply needing a conversation. But everyone knew better. What he needed was submission, and not conversation. And that is simply not going to occur. His demeanor, timeless manipulation. He becomes the victim. He deflects blame on everyone else. Robyn, the ex-wives, even his own children. And in the end, his complete inability to take responsibility for his actions has left him alone. His children, on the other hand, have gone on. They're forming healthy relationships, building new families of their own, and recovering without him. But the madness doesn't stop at family dynamics. Let's talk about Kody's now infamous tree-chopping episode. For a man who claims to have cut down over 1,000 trees, you'd think he'd know what he's doing. Spoiler, he doesn't. His technique is a complete disaster. Unless he was clearing forests for a living, which he wasn't, those numbers just don't add up. And his performance? Total chaos. The second he ran up that hill to jump and knock over the ladder, rather than simply employ a stool, I lost it. It was comedy gold, if not straight up dangerous. I had to rewind it just to be able to believe what I was witnessing. Did he genuinely require a running start to ascend that hill? Or was that simply another case of his haphazard, crazy decision-making? It was nerve-wracking to watch him attempt to bring down a tree, not only because it appeared dangerous, but because this man has actually dropped a tree on his own house before, and naturally, in typical Kody style, he never completes the task. He brings down the trees and leaves them, logs scattered all about. He's a deadbeat dad, a deadbeat husband, and now, a deadbeat lumberjack as well. And in earnest, what's with the grin? Someone please get this man a dentist. His smile is like the result of a food fight. That stack of ladders? Just as tragic. During episode 1, he brags about cleaning up the landscape, but never takes any action to actually see it through. Robyn even scolds him for not seeing things through. And when he eventually finishes a tree cut down, the view's still a mess. Kody insists he's this tough outdoorsman who's cut down trees by the thousands. But what is he actually doing? Allowing logs to rot while the children, clearly too young to assist, sit on the sidelines and watch. It might have been a moment of teaching, a time of bonding, but Kody let it slip away, like everything else that's important to him. You want actual irony? The man is awful at manual labor, most likely because he either would not or would not listen to learn. He's flighty, chaotic, and woefully ignorant of the destruction he leaves behind. His behavior yells untreated ADHD combined with unhinged narcissism, a toxic mix of dysfunction that makes so much sense of his life. And meanwhile, where is Kody? Not repairing things, not developing a connection with his children. No, he's at bars, primping his curls, and acting as the hero of a soap nobody else is watching. The instant he purchased that property, we knew the labor of love wasn't ever going to materialize. He doesn't need pine trees. He needs applause. Let's not forget the irony thereof. The master of COVID avoidance got it anyway. His children attended school. The nanny contracted it. And boom, there it was. Manic energy and bubble living to the nth degree could not protect him from the reality of it all. And lastly, Kody Brown, a man perpetually perspiring, perpetually showering, and somehow still never clean, emotionally or otherwise. He monopolizes the hot water, the bathrooms, and quite simply takes it all as an excuse to avoid real parenting. Seeing him struggle with that little underpowered chainsaw was comical. Then, in the middle of a scene, he suddenly changes to another one, so clearly staged, and Robyn shrieking, "Kody!" repeatedly like a caricature wife on a sitcom that's way beyond its cancellation date. The two of them seemed utterly deranged, unaware of how absurd they've gotten. Let's get real here. Why on earth is he even cutting down all these trees? For the view? Please. It's a performative flex. He's out there posing, trying to appear capable, but all he's doing is leaving behind huge, ugly stumps that are now literal tripping hazards. If he had a lick of sense, he'd repurpose that wood, perhaps carve benches, stools, something. But competence has never been Kody's strong suit. Leaving the chainsaw idling while chopping with an axe? That stressed me out. No wonder Robyn hovering around him like a worried mother over a child with scissors. And that complete fabrication about cutting down thousands of trees? Fiction. He's lucky he hasn't hurt himself badly. And cutting down a healthy tree just because it obstructs the view? Facepalm. That's not being masculine. That's a midlife crisis with power equipment. Kody's definition of being a man is essentially a list of stereotypes. Flashy car, check. Visor, check. Fairy prince, magical curls, double check. And still, he's the master of failing. 3 marriages gone, 13 kids drifting away, a falling down mansion, and not one shred of actual stability. Without the show and the family it created, Kody would have nothing. And the worst part? At one point, many of us actually thought in him. Now, it's like the whole thing was a con going on for months. He proudly announces, "Now that I'm a monogamist, my wife gets to make the rules." As if that's some evolved, noble stance. Let's be honest, Robyn has always made the rules. Kody's just finally admitting it, whether he realizes it or not. Watching him this episode was like witnessing a full-blown manic episode. He's yelling, boasting, vibrating with this weird energy like he's trying to convince himself he's still in control. And those Vegas trees he felled? Yeah, okay. Kody is now in deep denial at this point. His definition of masculinity is just louder, sweatier, and more out of control. He obviously never recovered from the name-calling he says he suffered in high school. And now, he's escalating harder the less people there are to rein him in. Robyn can't even call him out any longer without violating her own loyalty rules. When the other wives were around, they at least kept him in check. Now, he's on his own, spiraling wildly like a chainsaw-wielding toddler with a superiority complex. And here's the twist. Kody is in withdrawal, not from booze or from fame, from attention. And now that there's just one wife, he's actually forced to compromise. No more using chaos of plural marriage as an excuse. No more evading responsibility. If he wants this relationship to survive, he must listen, something he's never had the knack for. And if he doesn't, Robyn's got all the chips. Legal, financial, emotional. She could walk away, and he knows it. He speaks of rules, but what he actually means is limits, something completely alien to Kody's emotional lexicon. His polygamist years were a disaster because nobody ever held him to account. Now he finds himself stuck in the marriage he always said he desired, and it's obviously not what he had envisioned. Even that cringingly uncomfortable breakup with Meri demonstrated how he manipulates history. Kody maintains the wives did something, so he pulled back. No, they acted up because he ceased appearing as a husband, such as when Janelle purchased the RV without him. Her words still linger. If I wait for Kody, I'll be homeless. That is the truth. He checked out, then became irate when the women didn't continue to wait around. Now, Kody and Robyn are merely putting on an act for the cameras. If you believe they're sleeping together every night, I have a pile of ladders to sell you. They probably sleep separately. Robyn even decorated the master bedroom herself. Symbolic, at least. This wasn't ever an equal partnership. Kody's been her puppet from day one. Even his enigmatic gluten intolerance came out of nowhere after Robyn appeared. Coincidence? Hardly. Who would want Kody now, anyway? He's delusional, clingy, and emotionally bankrupt. Their union is as sexy as a church potluck, stilted, oversweetened, and stale. Did you see that weird scene where he attempted to teach someone his dance moves? I nearly had to avert my eyes. Or how he couldn't even instruct truly how to ride a bike. This man lacks follow-through, patience, and any sense. At least the other wives are finally free. Meri in particular deserves an opportunity at a genuine, healthy relationship. One where she's respected and loved, not cast aside like an old couch once the vibe shifts. Ultimately, Kody was never in control. Not ever. Robyn called the shots, dictated the mood, and covertly manipulated strings while he acted out the role of patriarch. And now that the veil has been lifted, it's no surprise the others bailed. They weren't the issue. Kody was, and always has been. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget to tap that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and as always, a whole lot of love to all of you.